Okay, okay, guys. Uh, okay, guys. We are live with another interview of um, this two these two wonderful, you know, people. As as you know, this is A- Adam Carlisle. This is um, if you if you won't if you won't mind saying your 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 your, your name, Logan.
Okay, Alex. I'm Logan Fisher, and I'm a friend of Adam's and also Alex's. And it's my first time being on your show, Alex. So I'm really excited. Thanks for inviting me to come hang out with you tonight, man.
Well, um, sorry about the late start, uh, guys. I had some technical difficulties, so um, anyway, Logan,
Mm-hmm.
uh, why don't you, um, since it's your first time on the show, t- tell tell my audience a little bit more about yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure, man. Well, again, my name's Logan, and I'm a musician that's based roughly in Gainesville, Florida. And I've grown up in Florida my whole life. I just turned 36 years old, and I've been playing music since I was 11. And for like the last decade, I've been a full-time music contractor, doing playing with bands live on stage, playing instruments on people's recordings, and producing and recording music for people. So that's kind of been my whole journey of the last decade, is learning how to do all those things. And I've met lots of cool people, like our you know mutual friend Adam, who we produced a cool maybe 18 or 19 songs total now. I know there's 16 on the album. We'll get there. But yeah, that's basically all you need to know about me. Is I love dogs, and I love drums, and I love chess, and I love Star Wars, and I love coffee way too much. And
Uh,
I don't know what else you could even want to know about me after that. It's pretty much that's
um, okay. I was gonna ask you a couple questions about how you got started in the music,
hmm
in the industry produce thing. So, um, go ahead, Logan. What inspired you to uh, start your dream into music?
That's a great question, buddy. The first big and easy answer is my mom. It was kind of her idea to get me involved with the bands at the school where I went. Because I was doing well with my grades, and I was a good kid, but I was kind of struggling because I was a little awkward, and I didn't like going to school very much for a while there. So my grades weren't doing too well. My mom noticed that I wasn't happy going to school anymore, so she thought, let's get Logan into something that will motivate him and give him like something to look forward to at school. And it really worked, and probably changed the course of my life in ways I still am finding out. But she suggested maybe trumpet or drums, and I was like, I'm not cool enough to be a musician. Are you kidding me? How could I possibly do that? And she just knew I could do it. So I said, all right, if I got to pick one, I want to make my mom happy. I wanted to trust her. So I was like, well, you can't really play trumpet in a rock band, but you can play drums in just about any kind of music. I had my first drum lesson. Um, and that day I decided, and I told my mom, I want to play drums for a living. And I was 11. And it just kind of went from
Oh,
there. As far as how I got started with recording and producing music, that's a little bit more like directing a movie. Like you're not usually acting in it, all which would be like playing on the record. Sometimes I do that, but you're really a big picture person, and you get to like take something great that somebody else wrote and then help it be as great as it can be. And I think I was drawn to that because as a kid, I loved movies and video games, and I wanted to like direct movies. Once when I was a kid, I went through a movies phase, and I went through a phase where I wanted to develop video games. So once I got good at music, I was kind of like, well, what's the movie thing with music? And it was like, oh, wow, I'll produce records. So I kind of look at every record that I listen to like a little sound movie.
Okay.
Or a big sound movie like Adam's is a pretty large sound movie.
Well, I know that 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 this that this that that this album took took a long time to make, but as I told you over the phone, Mr. Logan, I think it was today, in fact. Um, uh, what what was your favorite part producing that album?
That's another great question. I started thinking of a bunch of answers, but the obvious question was just getting to spend a bunch of time with Adam. Or the obvious answer is that I just got to spend a bunch of time with Adam. And my favorite thing to do with my friends is to create stuff and to be creative and listen to lots of music or look at art and get ideas and have crazy discussions. Could we do this? What if it has a slide whistle? We could record a freight
Hold
train.
on, guys. Let
You
me
know.
get my
Oh, the headphones came
on.
off. Oh dear.
Oops. Sorry.
You're rocking out too hard over there, man. Throwing off the
Sorry
headphones.
about that. So, so where were we, guys?
You were asking what I liked most was my favorite part of the album process with Adam, and I said mostly just hanging out with Adam and having a common goal that we could kind of get really creative. That's my favorite thing to do when I'm hanging out with friends, is to be creative together and have like some kind of project. So that was really the best part, is hanging out with Adam and getting to work with all the really cool people. We had some of my best friends on it.
So what was your um if you can help me out, Mr. Logan, what so how did you get you know how did you get in to on this album with Adam?
Well, I was just really lucky.
About that.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
The best that I can.
You're doing great, man.
All the questions, you know. So.
Well, you had a lot of good ideas, so I'm sure if we forget one, it'll come up later. But
being that this album took a long time to make, what was that program that you used to make everything happen?
Another good one. We used a couple different programs. There's one program that's called Pro Tools that most big studios use to record, And at the studios that we worked on the record at, they had Pro Tools, so we recorded into this thing. It's called a digital audio workstation, where you're recording through your microphones, and you can see the little squiggly lines of your sound you've recorded on the computer. You can go in there and do all kinds of stuff. And then we used another one to mix the music, which is where you take what you've recorded and you make sure everything sounds individually correct together, if that makes sense. And that one is called
Yes.
that program is called Reaper. That is another digital audio workstation, and it's like reaping the harvest, like a farming analogy, I think.
And I I seen on 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 Adam's video behind behind the scenes on that video that you guys made in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were using like a like a some different tools to listen to the playback. Um, do you know what I'm saying?
I think he's
Yeah.
talking about the all the plethora of analog outboard gear that was in the control room in that video that Houston made. I think that's the one he's referring to, Logan.
Yeah. Was
They
it
do
for
some
this?
analog stuff too.
Was it the song was Awake, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm
No,
trying.
that makes sense. Yeah, we had a few sessions at a couple different studios. One of them was called Pulp Arts, and that's the one that you saw in that video. And they have this very, very large, what we call a recording and mixing console. So it's just a bunch of electronics, very high end, expensive electronic components, and the sound goes through there, and you can mess with the sound with all these cool knobs. There's a bunch of lights. It's a lot of fun. And then that just goes out to some speakers. And in a studio like that, they have a whole bunch of different speakers you can listen on that all kind of show you different things in the sound. So we would be sitting there and switching between speakers and turning this up and down, and having a lot of fun just trying different things out.
Um, and and I seen and another thing in that video. You guys were using like like uh like a back backy box or whatever those were called.
Yeah, that was an analog compression device, compressor limiter actually, and that one happens to be a tube, kind of almost a replica of what of some of the early 1950s compressors. And what a compressor actually does, or a limiting amplifier, better described, is it's almost like an automatic volume control. If I get on the mic, or anybody gets on the mic, or you have an instrument that might be loud at some point, but too soft at sometimes, it kind of automatically, like a fader or a volume knob, it kind of instantaneously adjusts it to the speed of light to get everything more even sounding. Does that make sense, Alex?
Yes,
That's the best way I could
I
describe a limiter or a
I
compressor.
I I'm trying to ask some 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 great questions as we go here, fellas.
Yeah, I
Um,
like it that you remember the vacuum Vox, because I couldn't even remember what it was. I believe I asked if they had a Fairchild,
Mm-hmm.
and that
That's
was
right.
something very similar to a Fairchild, and they had something. They had to go back in a room and get it and bring it out, it gives it a different type of a bite. I don't know how to describe it, but it gives it a different feel. Those old tube compressors are some of my favorites for vocals.
okay. Um, so when this this question is for Logan.
Mm-hmm.
When when Adam came to you, say, when Adam came to you with this album, um, so, um, how did you know which programs on your computer that you was gonna use?
Well, I think it's sort of a listening game. At the very beginning, excuse me, at the very beginning, we were just listening to a bunch of what we call demos, old demo recordings, where you record it really quick just so you don't forget it. And then later on, you make
Yes,
a real version, right?
that's exactly what Adam said in our past interview that you seen on my YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And we're live on my YouTube now. Um, so um, so so you you guys did a wonderful job on the album. I love every 16 songs on it, and
Thank you, Alex. That's quite a compliment because I know how much of a music connoisseur you are. A lot of people don't realize how in depth you just about know every word to every song you've ever heard.
and um and and Logan,
Mm.
I I I don't I don't know if I told you this, but I lost my my stepdad in 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 January 17th of this year, and and Adam had the priv- privilege of show, show, showing up to that little get together that we had for my stepdad, and um and and it was sad. I'm still going for a hard time, and um that's why I I wrote my 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 little pieces of music that I shared with you, Logan, and I've you know I I would I would like to announce on this um interview right now that you know I'm I'm working on a couple projects with 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 Logan and Mr. Adam, and I believe that we t- talked about it. Um, if you guys remember,
I sure do. I sure do. We have a couple of things to start working on. Namely, first thing, your new jingle. You want to like continue to evolve your intro music and theme song.
and I just want this second song to be like a little surprise for my mom, because she's, you know, going for hard time as much as I am missing her husband, and I am too.
Hmm.
So I want this song to be uh, the best song that you guys can come up with, uh, gentlemen. So that's why I I I asked you, Adam, if you wanted to sing on it, because you you are always there for me, buddy, and um, I just like I consider you part of my family, Adam, and so are are you, Mr. Logan, and I I wanted you guys to 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 work together to see if you can get something done for me. Um,
We have some ideas, so we have to just find some time to get together and see if we can make those ideas happen and become something real. And that's where the creative part has to happen, So, and we also have to have the, you know, uh, have the kind of the schedules have to line up where we can get together and do it. But we're going to do our best to get on that, buddy.
Yep.
did, did you, Adam, did, did Mr. Logan share with you my lyrics to that secret surprise song that I wrote all by myself?
Yeah, the one about Tony, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I have it. I have the lyrics on my phone.
and I came up with that all by myself, and you I just wanted to keep Tony's you know spirit uh, uh, alive.
Yeah,
You
that, and
know,
it's also a great way to express your grief. When you can sit down and put pen to paper, or nowadays finger to keypad, and express your feelings, something you're going through emotionally. It's actually right there. That act alone is very helpful in dealing with grief. Be, because you feel like you did something. You're anytime you can express yourself artistically when you're feeling sad about something, it's got to take some of the weight off. It does for me.
I I don't mean to get off the topic here, gentlemen, but I just wanted to share with you guys. Um, this is what I want to work on. If we can make that happen. You know, I'm I'm tr- 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 I'm trust trusting you guys to to like you know to to be- to be- to to do the best that you can. So
Well, we'll get together and we'll see what comes from it. Sometimes when it comes to songwriting or even putting a song that's been written together, um, it's got to kind of happen. It's not something you can just make happen. So, uh,
I mean I understand it's gonna take time, Adam. I just wanted this song came from my heart, Adam, and I just
I
wanted
get it.
to,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
to to share it with the both of you.
Mhm.
And um, back to what we was talking about before I got onto my little um little moment that I had. Sorry, sorry about that, gentlemen. Um,
No problem. The
No, it's,
subject is music, so you're still on subject.
mhm.
the
And it's important to you, man. It's good to talk about personal stuff too, and it's hard to separate music and personal stuff in a lot of cases. So,
well, Logan. Um, uh, when did you know that you wanted to be a, a producer? I know you already
hmm.
said that, but but you know, I couldn't. Um, I don't know if we covered that already or not, but
We talked about related things, but that's kind of a different question. Because you asked how I got into music, and of course, my mom helped me get, the first push into that when I was a little kid. I was like 11. But I sort of talked about it, how I didn't necessarily I wasn't even a musician at first for 11 years, but I knew I wanted to produce something. I wanted to design or direct or produce some projects of
or
art. So when I got
or
into music, that just became producing records.
or or make video games or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, that was
Um,
also one that honestly I still kind of imagine what could have been if I was making video games, but my dad didn't think that was a good idea, so I went with music instead.
I have a brother that can tell you just the answer to that question. He lives in Canada now, but he's he's won a few awards on video games that he's designed and stuff.
It's a
um,
tough industry.
and 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 your brother Adam, the 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 sign that sign that
That's
you
right. Yeah, your
that you
backdrop.
see
Yeah,
on my backdrop here,
yeah,
and it's amazing.
yeah. I have a
So
brother. His name's Heath Carlisle, and he's been in the graphic arts industry for 40 years, and now he's the video game guy. But he actually he did. He designed that backdrop that's on Alex's green screen there with it for the Disability Network thing a few years ago. We had some signs made up and a banner that I gave to Alex a few years ago. But yeah, and a couple,
I
I think, T-shirts.
what what I did was I gave Adam a couple of my the, the signs, you know, um, and I told him this is what I wanted, and he just b- brought it to his brother's attention, and you know he was able to 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 come up with this this cool little design with those logos that with those designs that I shared with Adam. So
Yep.
so so what do you think about that, Mr. Logan?
Well, I did not know that. Was it? Is your brother? Which brother did it?
Heath.
It was he? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because he does the video games, and I think you've shown me some of his. Does he have the punk band also?
Yeah, he does.
Because I
Yeah,
know Matt also played on the record with us.
yeah,
But I haven't met all your brothers. I think that's awesome, Alex. It looks great, and I think it's really cool when people pitch in to help creators, get things going. I think it looks
yeah. I
awesome.
was
and
I was actually going to get Heath to design the album cover, but he was so busy he couldn't get to it in time. And I called our mutual friend Houston Keene,
Mm-hmm.
who's a pretty good designer, and he did an excellent job. I'm really happy with the way the record. I got to give a shout out to Houston because he designed, basically put the album cover together with photos that we took during the sessions on the inside, and then some photos that my wife took for the album cover. And I had an old friend that did a charcoal portrait. You can see it over my left shoulder in the background here. And we ended up using that for the inside overlay for the lyric sheets, underlay for the lyrics. But it's all either friends or family on the record. I think that's what makes it so great. It's not my house. It should have been called At Our House, because we had Logan, Daniel App,
Mm-hmm.
my friend Daniel App played guitars. Jonathan McGravy played bass. My brother Matt played bass on some of the tracks, notably the fretless bass parts. Gary Morse, a good friend of ours, on pedal steel.
Gary.
Phil Jones, another pedal steel player who's passed away.
Yep.
But Phil played pedal steel on 2 or 3 songs. And unfortunately, he passed away since the album came out. I did manage to give him get one to him before he died. Mark Sporleader played guitar on a couple tracks. And our friends Tim Binkley, Joe Vaden, and Becky Sin all did backup vocals. Tim and Joe are my old friends from Electric Catfish, the band I had in Nashville. And so everybody who had something to do with this record is a personal friend or family member, and that's what I think really made it special.
And don't forget the one that's been playing the heck out of this album. That is me.
That's right. An album isn't worth a darn if nobody plays it. So I got to say that might be the most important part of all.
Yep. Even if one person loves it, it makes it worth it, man.
I think that guy got an album credit too. I think if you can read that, yeah.
And
there he is. Alex Perez. There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, he got a credit.
What Adam did was he sent me the master files of the remix that you guys already done, if I'm not mistaken, Adam. And I've been playing that thing ever since the album came out. I'm very happy how this album, had done. So
we are too. But thank you so much, Alex. That means a lot to me that you play it often. It really does mean a lot to me that you enjoy the music, because that's what we did it for, to be enjoyed. We got our enjoyment making it, but if it can live, if a couple years from now somebody plays one song and they sit back and think about it, or it makes them feel good, to me that's mission accomplished.
And I've been promoting the heck out of this album when it first came out. I was up until 12 midnight making a little video about it. And remember, Adam?
Oh, I remember. I think the very last year that we were working on it took us a little over 2 years to make the album, from pre-production till the time we were mastering it. And I think at least once a week once a week I'd get a call from Alex. Is it done yet? For the last year. And I'm like, no, almost. I said, hang in there, buddy. It's coming. I promise.
Yeah,
So,
sorry it took so long, buddy. But, it was worth it. We had to make sure we got all the best ideas in there.
the good news is we're all still here, and we got it done, and we were all still here to see it happen. So,
Mr. Logan, I'm gonna start with you first. What is your all-time favorite album to 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 produce on Mr. Adams' new album?
You're saying like which song was the best? Was my favorite one to produce?
Yes.
Let me get my album and think about it. That's a hard question. Luckily, I always have one close by at all times. Actually, I have it in my car. It's the only CD in my car.
It's either a good thing or a really bad thing that you have to look at the record. But I want to hear your answer just the same.
It's just if I don't have a visual cue, I'm going to forget some of these songs.
I know.
I have to go through the memories. But I actually listened to half the album today.
I got to do the same thing, and
I have all these weird producer style memories of the songs. So when I look at the song list, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one where I had to really work on kind of scrubbing the high end on those guitars. And that's the one where we happened on that vocal chain Adam really liked that we kept using. And that's the one. So I think maybe oddly enough, moving to the country, because that actually has very little on it. And I just think it works really well because of that. So I didn't have to do much. In fact, the piano on that, if Adam's not upset with me for divulging trade secrets, it's not even a real piano. We played a digital piano, like the one I have here in front of me. Adam played on a digital piano, and, we had that trigger a virtual piano.
I think originally we didn't think the song was really going to fit on the album. So we never really went into the studio to do that. I think we did everything on that particular song and all the expensive studios and time that we used. And that one, I think we did everything in your living room.
Yeah, the whole song was done at my house where I am here right now.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people's favorite. So
it's so simple and so effective,
if I make another album, I don't know how I'm going to feel about, spending $1,200 a day on studio time when I can just come to your house.
Hey, that's a great advertisement for me. So anybody out there, we can do it fast and cheap. It can be done.
Sometimes it's the song and not the production too,
Usually is.
And my favorite song on the album, gentlemen, if I may, my favorite song is called Hey Dad, because that song, when I heard it for the very first time, it like tugged at my heart strings, because I know that song wasn't about my stepdad, but do you
in my opinion, it was.
Yeah.
That song isn't necessarily about anybody's dad in particular, but you can interpret it to be about anything you want. It's just I don't do a lot of songs that I try not to do a lot of songs that are so focused on something personal in my life, but I lost my dad fairly recently too. And that song I surely did write it with him in mind, but I also try when I write a song not to be, too pointed, because music is for everyone to enjoy. And the more people who can interpret a song to fit their life or a memory or something having to do with them personally, to me, the more valuable the music is.
I agree.
Artistically.
And I agree with you, Adam. 100%. Um, you know, I I think I think music have to tell a story. You know, um, which in this case was your dad. You had your dad in mind, but you know how uh, how what was the thought process, you know, when you were even thinking about writing the album.
Um, I think this to say it the most brief way that I can say it is I wish I would have told him thank you more when he was alive. And that song was pretty much a thank you to my dad for all that he'd given me in my life. And that was pretty much the thought process.
Am
Thank
I? Am
it could
I?
have been called thank you, Dad, but
I mean, am I doing a good job? You know, asking you the questions in a different way.
as
Um,
always, sir, as always, you're doing a fantastic job. And every time I see you do a show or watch one of your podcasts, I think it gets better and better every time.
um,
You seem more relaxed and you do a better job, more articulate. Yeah.
Mhm. You're crushing it.
but gentlemen, um, um, back to this album. That's 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 why I wanted you on on this round table discussion, Adam. You know, you said on moving to the country, you had used like a little um, but 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 soon or
No,
whatever it was.
this.
Ah,
It's
it's
this
that
right
thing.
here
Yeah.
in this little case.
Yeah.
It's called a Honer melodica. It's a little instrument made in Germany, and what it is it's a tiny keyboard that you play with.
Oh,
Obviously, it's got piano keys on it, but it
I
also
I
has this. It has this
I
little
made
mouth.
a little bit of a mistake. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay. It's got a mouthpiece on it like this, and you blow into it. It's basically all controlled by air that you blow into, like a harmonica, but it's a keyboard and it's got a little mouthpiece like a clarinet. I bought it about 40 years ago. I was traveling with a band on the road, a country band, and I saw it in a pawn shop for it might have been $20. And I never had a keyboard I could play on the bus going down the road that I could fit in my bunk. Guys had guitars and ukuleles, but at that time I wasn't a guitar player, very much of one. I didn't bring one on the road. So I got this so I could practice scales and things. And it ended up on the album somehow. I don't know. I think I wanted to use an accordion, but I didn't have one. So
That's right. We did think it wouldn't it be cool if we had an accordion, and then that was pretty close. And I actually think that might be a very important part of why I like that song so much is
yeah,
because that makes it
And
unique.
Stevie Wonder used these quite often. And there was a band from Philadelphia that I grew up close to called the Hooters, and they
Mm.
used these really heavily in a harder rock band, and they incorporated and it's made some really interesting music. And I think that's probably what encouraged me to when I saw it in the pawn shop. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have one of those. I'm going to get one. But that was quite a long time ago, but it still works.
It was a good buy. He ended up using it.
and Logan,
Hmm.
um, what is your other favorite um mass masterpiece on that album, buddy, to produce.
From a production, like what it was like to be working on it as an engineer and producer.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I would say Behind the Eyes of Evil was really fun because that one starts out with all these vintage 80s kind of synthesizers. And we have a theremin, which is like it's almost like a little antenna that makes sound depending on where your
It's
hand
hanging
is.
up on the wall behind me. You can kind of see it above my
Yeah.
head right there.
That's it.
But that's the theremin. It's got like an antenna. Yeah.
Mhm. It's part of the sound from the intro music to the original series Star Trek from the 60s. That woo or whatever I believe is so it has all these kind of crazy, we're hamming it up and really going cheesy with all the synthesizers, and then there's these big rock guitars. It's just so different from the rest of it, and it's kind of cool. It has like these kind of serene synthesizer etudes at the beginning and end of the song with all this rock and roll in the middle. So it's kind of like a big old PBJ sandwich.
Everything that moving to the country is not.
Exactly.
The Uber production of Behind the Eyes of Evil is. And it's funny that we mentioned that those two songs almost in the same breath, because they are for sure the polar opposites of the album, if there are.
I think that's why they're my favorites. I'm a man of extremes. You know, I gotta have the folky one, and then the one that could have been a Hulk Hogan, entrance theme. I wouldn't insult it that way. It's a pretty awesome song too by itself as a song. Actually, it's a really serious subject matter. So,
yeah. The lyrics are a whole nother reason why it came to be.
The lyrics are pretty metal. They're pretty intense.
And Logan was sharing some ideas with me about a couple different things about how to get my YouTube channel seen by other people.
It's funny you mentioned that because now, to be fair, I haven't put near as much work into my YouTube channel as you have into yours, but it's just funny because you have right around 100 subscribers right now, and I have 8. So I'm in no position to give YouTube advice, really. But yeah, just from using YouTube a lot as a consumer,
I
had some ideas.
94 subscribers.
We're gonna pump that up.
I have 3.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, man. That's 3 more than none.
I got a couple. I got one of me singing in the shower, and I think it's got 6 views. That's got 6 views, and then I have one of my wife like riding a horse over at the farm that I took. I took that with my cell phone. I think that got 16 views. I'm not sure what else is on my YouTube channel, but maybe I don't even have a YouTube channel, but I have an account.
Yeah,
and there are some videos.
That's the channel.
You did. You played that song that was on your album. Is it? If I'm not mistaken, was it called 16 feet from fame?
Oh, no, I never put that song on out. It's called 15 Feet from Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I think Logan and I might have recorded a demo of that or something, but we never did anything.
We do have a pretty good demo of that, but we never put that out yet. That one's kind of on the workbench.
I get a little bit confused on
it's not on the album, but maybe we'll do another record once I can fit it into the budget.
I'm moving to the country style record.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's all we need.
Keep it smaller and have more intimate songs. I think would be a cool idea.
Yeah, we have right.
and Logan gave me another idea, which I think was very cool. Yeah, once once you get done with my jingle, he was gonna see if he can put it up on one of those uh this this sort of fusion, you know,
Mhm.
sites and put put my music on CD baby and uh didn't we say that
Yeah, we
uh
talked about because you said you just wanted it to be somewhere where people could listen to it, and so the best way to do that is use one of those distribution companies like you had mentioned, and they'll push all the music you put out through them to Spotify and all those major places where people can go to stream and listen to music. And yeah, I've never actually done that myself, but I've had I've produced a lot of music, and my clients usually end up doing that on the other side of
I
it. But I could probably help us, figure that out. Adam's actually got the expertise on doing that in this case because he's actually put an album out. But
I
it's pretty
I
easy to
just
do.
want people to hear my music that I create.
Of course, that's why
So,
we make it, right?
um, do, do you agree what I'm saying, Adam?
I do. I do.
So,
It's hard nowadays without social media. Uh, there's no way to distribute music anymore. That record stores, it's hard to find anybody that you can put your records in, and the way the media works nowadays too, being that it is born from a digital, uh, from software and things like that. There's really not a good idea always to put it on a record or a CD anymore. I like that media, and I like playing records, and I like playing CDs, and that's why I chose to do that. But the best way to do it, I think, is keep it in a format where you can use Bluetooth devices and wireless devices to play it, because they don't even put CD players in cars anymore. So that being said, you still need distribution of some type, and then digital media has to be distributed by a distribution company that can hook you up with all the platforms. And there are
um,
several of them out there.
and 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 listen, Adam. I I I had talked to Mr. Logan about help helping me out. Is it like 20 $20 a month to keep it up there, or just
I'm not sure. I think it depends on how many songs you have or what all you're trying to do. I can only tell you, I don't even remember how much I think I pay a yearly fee
Mm-hmm.
to a company
uh
called DistroKid, and I think it's a yearly fee. It's not a lot. It may be a couple $100, maybe 100 and something a year. But I think my album's been out. Oh, it's been out over a year. It was a year in October since we released at my house the album and I've paid more out to them than I've received from them. So it's up to you if you want to spend the money on it or not. But unless you're making a lot of money on a record, it's hard to go with a big distribution company. You're better off doing it yourself on things like YouTube. And if
Mm-hmm.
we could keep TikTok, if we can keep it, that's kind of up in the air politically now with the Chinese thing. But anything you can do by yourself to promote it without involving a middleman, you're going to be better
I'm
off, because when you got to start paying fees and you're not making money, you can end up in the hole. And if that's your hobby and what you want to spend your money on, that's one thing. But if you're poor like me, it's it doesn't make any economical sense at
I'm,
all. So,
I mean, I do have money, but I just,
you got to buy
you
food.
know,
It's so
Groceries.
annoying, right? Having to
Yeah,
eat. What a mess.
I
Look
got
at
I
my-
got money, but I got to buy groceries. So
but you guys understand it's it's hard to like like to afford you know um to to afford some you know if there's things that you want to do in life, it's hard, you know.
well,
But
we all make the best of what you got and take what you have to work with. The smallest tools in the world might make the best song on the record. You don't have
Mhm.
to spend a lot of money to do something fun. You just got to find a way to find things that you like to do that don't cost a lot of money. And there's plenty, especially if you have a computer and a cell phone.
Yep.
You know how to make a little bit of music. You don't have to spend a lot of money to make a recording or make a commercial. You can do it yourself, but you have to be a little bit innovative. That's what you're paying somebody else to do if you don't want to do it yourself.
I, I, you know, you you you've seen some of the pieces that I did all by myself, Adam,
I have.
and you know, um, some of the songs or the or the sounds are probably c- copyrighted, you know, but I, I'm. This is the thing about the copyright that I don't understand nowadays. If you don't have uh, a, a letter stating that you own or have permission uh, for that specific song or whatever, you will get a, a copyright. Do you understand?
And they'll send you a warning. Yeah, that's happened to me. I made a video in my home one
Hmm.
night right after the album. When I first came out, I was sitting in my room listening to my record, the one Logan and I, the one we're talking about tonight. And I made I made a video around the room of some people listening to the album just to get the reaction. And the audio of my song got onto Facebook
Mm.
and they shut me off. They sent me a warning because I, because I'm listening because I got my own music on Facebook and I got dinged for it. I mean, so they're very
Yeah.
thorough. They're quite thorough.
Yeah, they're doing their thing with it. They're definitely doing it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't say they're not, backing it up.
No, they muted my video because I had my own song on it. So
Yeah.
Bu- bu-
That does happen.
But if you own that 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 material from your album, Adam,
yeah,
like we discussed before, you know, I don't know if there's a way to I don't know how these other people get around copyright, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what algorithms control what. That's like, yeah, my stuff's copywritten. It's copywritten the minute you record it and write it down nowadays. But I don't understand how certain medias can really prove it's not yours. They have to do a little bit of legwork. There's a registry in Washington, D.C. on copyrights and patents and so forth. And to really be able to shut you down, they almost have to get something from the artist saying, "Hey, this guy's using my music, and I want it to stop." It's not just Facebook or it's not just YouTube that does it. It's the artists that make a lot of money, like Taylor Swift. I'm not saying her, but artists like her that make a lot of money. Aerosmith put stuff out there, and they have people that work for them, ASCAP, BMI, and they track all this stuff. And if it's played in the wrong context, they have these media platforms to take it off, And if the guy persists, shut him down. I don't do that, but I'm just me. Nobody listens to it anyway.
Oh, I listen to it.
And Adam, you gave me copyright permission to play it on my show.
Yep.
Whenever I want.
Yep, I'll say it publicly. You can use any of my music anytime you want on your show, and I'm never going to send you a cease and desist.
The cease and desist.
I'm not. As you can tell, I'm not an attorney. I don't even play one on TV,
and I don't even have a TV. So,
but it's kind of weird how these things work, how the whole system and the AI, they have to sit at YouTube checking on all of the videos to make sure that there's not a problem with it. You know what I mean?
They have lots of computers that do it for them.
Yeah, nowadays AI can recognize, even if a song is kind of playing in the background, if there's enough of it and the audio is not too garbled, the algorithm that they unleash on it can detect, oh, that's a Rod Stewart song or whoever, and it gets flagged automatically.
It's like a musical fingerprint. They're all slightly individual. That's why sometimes you can get away with a cover tune if it's not a really good version.
Yeah, like all of my covers.
Right. You can get away with that because the algorithm doesn't pick it up unless it's. I've had cover songs that got shut down, I think, from the Tom Petty band that Logan and I play, and it was so close that they dinged me on it. It wasn't Tom Petty, but we got shut down anyway. And I think it was because of the first 10 seconds of it. The guitar player really had his tone down, and it sounded a lot like it. And the only time I've ever seen that happen with a cover song.
It's kind of a compliment when you really think about it.
Yeah, if that's what you're going for, man, you nailed it,
brother. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep this as music related as possible, because this is a round table discussion.
It looks more like a triangular table.
I was gonna do it. I was like, should I make that joke? You got it. You beat me.
It's a delta table.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Logan. If I may, who is your favorite artist to play with?
Well, that's a difficult question, It's hard to publicly pick a favorite artist to play with.
I really enjoy playing with myself. But...
That's true. True. Been in a lot of trouble recently.
Oh, I forgot we're on TV.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
What do you say over there? Okay. What do you say over there, boy?
Probably though, my longest running musical friendship with a band or a musician that hires me is my friend Cliff Dorsey, who Adam has also played with a bunch, and we've both played on a lot of a lot of Cliff's stuff together.
Yeah.
So I love those shows. I've been playing with Cliff Dorsey since like 2014 or something. It's been a while. We met at Lowe's when we both used to work at Lowe's, and we unloaded trucks and got on the forklift and put pallets up and all that crazy stuff. And so we actually knew each other first by just working together in a day job.
Back when you both had respectable jobs.
Yeah, back when I had credit. Yeah, and benefits. Back in those early days before I made all the wise decisions and got
food in the refrigerator.
Oh yeah. And now I'm just up to here in the music industry. But Cliff and I have been playing together forever now. It feels like, and anytime we hang out, it's a good time.
Cliff's a great guy. He's a gem. I love him. What I love about Cliff, I think, is he's a really talented guy for one thing, but he's also such a genuinely decent guy. And it usually takes me a while to figure that out. Some people come across that way, and some people don't come across that way, but they just the first impression thing. But after spending a little time around Cliff, it made me really appreciate the guy he is off stage and on stage. They're both great guys.
Yeah, he's solid gold. Really, honestly, like he's kind of almost the same at all times. Like we've hung out and gone to the river, and I've gone kayaking with him and all that. And he's always out there like saving people that are like either losing control of something or they are having trouble fighting the current, and he'll tow them out and he'll be like, well, you're trying to go there. Well, what you want to do is keep heading this way. He's just always quarterbacking through life. He knows what to do.
No,
and he's always helping people and being the same dude.
Interview mom. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, you should interview Cliff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to talk to Cliff.
We should get Cliff on here, man. Yeah, Cliff would do it. I think he would. I don't want to say it, but I bet he would.
Cliff, you've been called out.
He's a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
He is,
Logan
and he's
got
great stories too.
And Logan was gonna hook me up with a couple of cool cats.
Cool cats, man.
That he knows in the music industry. Who, gentlemen, who is your all-time idol that you look up to? One of you guys were kids.
My father was my all-time idol, the guy I looked up to and still do. Even though he's not with me anymore, I still ask him questions. They don't get answered right away, but sometimes but I think it's got to be my father if you're asking me of any person. And he also happened to be a musician.
And your turn, Mr. Logan.
My mom, Lisa.
I'm asking you the same question.
Yeah, my all-time hero has always been my mom, Lisa. That's the same lady that got me into music and literally saved my life multiple times when I was a kid. Literally saved my life from just the jaws of doom a couple of times. She put her whole heart into everything she ever did, and she loved everybody that would let her, and she was my favorite teacher and my favorite leader, and I always looked up to her the best. She's my number one, bro.
Well, my favorite all-time artist, of course I love Adam's music, but my favorite all-time artist is Weaver, McIntyre, George Strait,
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, and Tom Petty, uh, which he has a song that 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 they play all over the Gators Stadium down in the Gainesville, which
That's right.
which is I don't back down. I stand my ground. You know, that's 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 my favorite song.
Is
You
that
know,
your favorite Tom Petty song, or is that your favorite song of all time? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's my favorite song of all time. But
Nice.
I also like that song by Tom Petty that goes, She grew up in the end of town. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
With a good-looking mama who never was around. Yeah. She grew up
Yeah,
tall. She grew up right with the many boys on. Yeah, it's Mary Jane's Last Dance.
yeah,
Last Dance with Mary Jane.
yeah. Um, and I grew up when I was little, gentlemen. You know, I used to listen to different variety of music. You know, um, that old timey music. You know, like George Strait. You know, like Billy Ray Cyrus. You know, like all those. All
you're a
those.
'90s kid. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
I was
yeah,
gonna ask, do you know Keith Whitley?
yes.
Okay, he's one of my favorites. I just wondered if you also like Keith Whitley since
Yeah,
you
he
love
was
all
a
those.
gem. He was a gem.
He's one of my faves.
Hell of a songwriter there.
Um, yes, and I do love Keith Whitley, and I think he died of a certain thing that happened to him. Uh, he, I don't know how to explain it without getting me shut down here.
Oh no, I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, we unfortunately did lose Keith Whitley when he was pretty young, but he has some of my favorite songs. You know, there's a lot of people like Miami, Miami. It's not one of my favorites. Or Don't Close Your Eyes. No, I like Heard Her on the Radio, No Stranger to the Rain, Over You. There's just a ton of Keith Whitley classics, even though
Yeah.
he didn't release
And
that much music.
and I and I and, and I play those songs on my Pandora, and I know every song on the radio. When I hear it, I never forget it.
So I hear you're like Adam said, a connoisseur, and you probably have a pretty great musical memory, dude. You're a connoisseur. We're gonna have to get you some baguettes and some croissants.
Well, when I hear Reba McEntire, George Strait, and Tom Petty in the same breath, I think that guy has eclectic taste in music.
Mhm. That's a man of culture, though. All fine choices, but very different.
And I actually got to meet uh, Weaver McIntyre.
I never knew that.
Hmm.
I think
I
Reba McEntire and George Strait are both from Oklahoma, so they both have that in common, right?
I actually got to meet George Slate and the Weaver McIntyre backstage. I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and I got a picture here when I
I've,
was little. I
I've seen
was
that signed picture in your room. Yeah. Yep. I've seen that hanging up in your room there.
of George Slade, of of my mom holding me, when I was a baby, I was, I love all, music. I have a, kind of good variety of taste.
Yeah.
I'm a big Elvis Presley fan,
Hmm.
like I'm all shook up,
That's a good one.
and 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 all that, like Heartbreak Hotel, like
Mm.
all those kind of you know
Mm-hmm.
music. And I'm also a Michael Jackson fan
Nice.
too.
Great bass
Uh,
lines. He had some of the best bass lines around.
yeah.
Get that Billie
Um,
Jean.
my favorite song was you've been hit by a smooth criminal.
That's a
You
good one.
know?
Did you know that a 90s rock band did a cover of that song? There's a rock and roll
Oh,
version of
I
Smooth
didn't
Criminal.
know that.
It's an easy band name to remember because it's weird. It's a band that I loved as a kid called Alien Ant Farm. And they're a great band. They had a lot of their own good songs.
I remember them.
Yeah, but sadly the biggest song
I
they
never
had
knew
was
they
that one.
I never knew they covered that song though.
That was their biggest hit. Was "You've Been Hit By," and it has Mike Cosgrove on drums, and he is just slamming on that whole song. It's very cool to hear a rock band play a Michael Jackson hit. But
So, Logan, when did you learn that you wanted to play the drums? I know that we already went over this. I'm sorry,
don't be
but I'm
sorry ever,
repeating
brother.
myself. But
Yeah, like I got lucky. A lot of people go many years or even their whole lives without finding that something that they go, oh, this is clearly what I'm supposed to do. Like they look for that and search for that. But I had it when I was 11 years old, and it was the day that I got my first drum lesson. There was this little music store near the tiny little school that I went to in a town called Fort White, and it was just an old house. It was called Picks in Strings, and that music store didn't last too long. It had been there for maybe 15, 20 years. But eventually it closed down. And funny enough, one of my buddies ended up buying, his family bought that house. So I was friends with a kid whose bedroom was the exact room I got my first drum lesson in. So many years later, I went over to my friend's house and went up to see his room. And it was the room where I started playing drums. But yeah, my mom took me to Picks and Strings, and a local church drummer named Hal Adams, who's still a friend, gave me my first drum lesson, and he said I did pretty good.
I know him. I've
Yeah.
met Al before.
To give him my first drum lesson back at Picks and Strings.
Yeah, I think I played a couple gigs where he was playing drums around the Central Florida area since I've lived here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much he gets out and plays anymore, but I hope he still does. I talked to him recently though, and but yeah, as soon as he said I did a good job, I was like, maybe I should do this. And on the way home, I made up my mind. I told my mom, I'm gonna play drums, and I wish I'd have said I'm gonna be an accountant, but I knew from day one, the very first time I ever played drums, that's what I wanted to do. Just hit me.
Now, Logan, uh, which song do you like to play on drums?
That's a great question. Well, as I'm going through my memories, a lot of the music that I've played the most isn't always even music that I really love because, it's a job. You get paid to play whatever somebody asks you, and you have to take it seriously and pretend it's your favorite song while you're playing it. You have to feel it.
Yep.
But Adam knows more about that than I do by a bit. But I'd say I really, really love playing Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. A lot of artists play versions of that song. I always have fun with that one. And on my own personal time, I'm learning a really, really hard song by a band called Snarky Puppy. If you've never heard of Snarky Puppy, I need to send you a link because I think you would really enjoy their music. It's very, very wild.
Yes, I'll check that out as soon as I get off this interview with you guys.
So the song I'm learning by them is called "What About Me," and it's by that band Snarky Puppy. And they have, in my opinion, maybe the greatest drummer that I've ever heard of all time, maybe the greatest musician on the planet, and his name is Larnell Lewis, and he's actually a little bit younger than me, and he's an incredible drummer. So I like to play all kinds of music, but whatever my favorite song to play is usually the hardest song I'm trying to learn. I like to play drums that are very, very, very difficult to play and have to spend weeks learning a very challenging song. That's my favorite thing to do, is to challenge myself a lot because you get better, you know.
Like, what is the most difficult song you had a hard time learning, Logan?
Well, either that song that I'm learning right now might be the hardest one, or most of the really hard music is from artists that we don't know very well, because the music that tends to be really popular isn't so focused on the challenge of the musicianship. It's more about finding words and melodies that people want to sing and remember. So the more popular music gets, usually the less complicated it is to play. It still can be difficult. Probably the hardest piece of music that I've ever tried to play is a very obscure piece of music by the Dave Weckl Band, which is a jazz fusion group. And there's a song that I'm going to butcher the name of, even though I've been trying to play it for 20 years. And it's called Tiempo de Festival. It's basically party time. And it's a really, really difficult, like Afro-Cuban jazz piece.
Is it like Spanish, kind of related, or
Musically, you could say that it has elements that I would primarily categorize as like Afro-Cuban, maybe Brazilian influences, but it's an instrumental piece. So, it's just got lots of drums and percussion, and even though it's all being done by one person, the drums are all one person, but it sounds like 5 people. It's incredible, and you've got saxophone and a keyboardist and a bass player and trumpets doing these big bow hits and stuff, and it's very, very fun. But it's a weird band, but I could share you that one too. But if anybody out there can stomach jazz music, if you can handle listening to jazz, a lot of people just don't enjoy it, and I sympathize. But that's a really great one. It's called Tiempo de Festival by Dave Weckl Band.
And my favorite song that I'm listening to now, it's by Tracy Chapman.
Yes.
It's called If You Think of Me, and I'll think of you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think so. Do you know that song, Adam? I'm ashamed to admit I don't know enough Tracy Chapman.
Is it something she's recorded recently, or is it one of her earlier records?
I mean,
It doesn't sound familiar to me. At least what you're saying there.
It's called the Promise.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I think I know that song. Yes, yeah. Okay, it just took a second. Yeah, I know that's a great song.
And and my mom loves that song. That you know, when my stepdad died, my mom wanted that that song in a TikTok that I made,
Mm.
you know, of pictures, you know, like a little slideshow to remember a, a loved one, So I'm mm, pretty good at making slide shows,
Yeah, that's a great way to memorialize someone, and it's also a lot of fun to make slideshows.
And Adam seen some of my slideshows
You have
Yeah.
some of them on the channel where people can check
on
them out. I'll check them out. I
on
haven't
my
seen those yet.
YouTube channel, and
Yeah.
I even you know got some of me and Tony while he was still alive. We during the day when my mom was at work, you know, we didn't have anything else to do.
I've seen some
So
of them
we
pretty funny with you two fooling around being clowns, and I've enjoyed some of that, watching some of that stuff.
so we
Tony was a fun guy.
so we decided to make people laugh, you know. Um, when he was still here, obviously he's not here now, but this this whole disability TV network thing was was brought up by by Tony, you know. He said to me at lunchtime, I was sitting out there at the dinner table eating lunch or whatever, and he came came up with this great idea.
Didn't he come up with the idea to make T-shirts and everything, Alex?
Yeah, and he came up with this great idea. He says, Alex, since you like to talk, why don't you create your own network, like a TV network on YouTube where people can tune in, and and you, you guys know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Um,
I'm a subscriber of your YouTube channel, and I always give your videos a thumbs up and try and support you because you're also a good friend of mine and a swell guy. But your shows are really interesting. If you've ever watched any of Alex's interviews with other artists, John Stone was on there several times. A few other band members I know, the Trailer Park All Stars. I've seen Alex interview, and they're always interesting topics, man. Always cool stuff. Alex
and
loves music. You can tell that. Or you have a lot of sports stuff too. I don't necessarily tune into those, but I'm,
yeah,
I'm not a big
like
sports guy per se.
like like told you about, I did a whole mm, podcast about the Gators. You said
Yeah,
you was gonna tune in to
I've
one of
watched a couple
those,
of them. I tune into them once in a while.
but you didn't have a chance to catch the show live. You know.
Yeah, I can't always be there when they're happening live, but the good news is when once you put them on YouTube, I can watch them anytime I want.
Yeah.
I
So
watch it on my TV.
so um um I'm gonna go with Logan. Um, which one of my videos that you were able to watch and and you know were inspired by one of my videos? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm a little biased maybe, but my personal favorite was the most recent interview you did with Adam, where I was able to actually
Of,
watch that one
of,
live and jump
of,
in.
of course.
Because I love the guy. He's my dear friend, and both of you are.
It's been a while now.
And
It might have been a year or more ago, actually.
has it been that long?
I don't know.
Wow,
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Was
that
When?
gets some
you know
eyebrow
what?
work.
No, it probably hasn't been quite a year yet because I remember I had the vinyl. I had the like I do now. I had the vinyl record in front of me.
Hmm.
I didn't get these until January or February of last year, so it was.
I feel like it may have been May or
Yeah, it might have been.
April.
It might have been a few months after the release. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
but
remember. I remember having that record in my hand to kind of show off, because we had just got a skid load of albums delivered, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm cutting the plastic, Alex," because Alex knows when I put a recording out, he gets the first one. The very first box we open, the very first record always goes to him.
as it should be.
Any project I work on.
And I've started watching your backyard. Is it it's a backyard football. I don't know which one is my favorite because there are several, but I like seeing you play
Yeah,
backyard
I
football. I wonder if we could get you playing some Madden NFL. I'll jump on and play you on some Madden. I just got to get a game console, but I used to be good at that.
and and I like all those back in the day com, com, computer game stuff. When you had um computers with CD drive.
Yep, the
I
good old
used to
days.
I used to ask my mom to buy all the all my childhood games on CD when it was released,
Hmm.
and um now that everything is digital digital nowadays, I can play it without the the disc now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah. You're not supposed to do this, but they even have emulators and things like that where you can go play old Super Nintendo games and things like that, and it's
but
amazing.
um but I had a friend that that said, if you want to play your old classic computer games, I got a website
Mm.
that might could help you with that. What we did was, we sort of download all the files, you know, and we had to, uh, it took us time, to find out where to download all the files, but we got it done, and we uh I know that we're not supposed to do this, but I'm able to play my old computer games. But I really enjoy playing those old games. You know, those old back in the day. You know, like computer games. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it kind of takes you back, doesn't it? Like I have a lot of childhood memories of very certain video games, and it's like sometimes I get a chance to play one of those old games, and I feel like I'm 12 years old again, and my buddy's sitting right next to me, and we're arguing over a Mortal Kombat or something like that, Street Fighter, all the old games I used to play in the 90s, because I was a 90s kid. I was there for the whole 90s, conscious for most of it.
Yeah, when I was 12,
Yeah.
when I was 12, we had Pong.
Oh, that's a good one.
Pong and electronic tennis with the two little lines. And then
Mhm.
when I was a teenager, we had you'd go to the pizza shop and there would be a machine you could play Donkey Kong on a machine at the pizza shop. That's my first
Oh,
memory of actual color video games was the big game consoles at the pizza shop. You kind of like there'd be a pinball machine and there'd be Donkey Kong or Frogger or something like that, and
I remember
asteroids.
I remember that. Y-
Mhm.
Yeah, every game cost like a quarter
Yeah,
back
you put
in
money,
the day.
in there, right, and boot it up. You try to beat the last person's high score, and it would always have somebody's name or nickname on there, and it had the high score, and you'd always strive to beat it. Yeah,
And there were always certain initials because it was 3 letters. So there were always certain initials that no matter what game, no matter what arcade, pizzeria, there were certain sets of initials you would always see because you could write out certain curse words with it. And so
yeah,
there'd always be somebody in the top 10 with certain names.
yeah.
Yeah,
I miss those days, man.
and
Somebody named
and
Anthony Scott. Never mind.
and I hear Mr. Logan that you like to play chess.
I like
Chess,
to try. I like to try to play chess. Yes, yes, I do very much.
and you like to 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 streaming to stream it on on Twitch.
I want to one day when I get a little bit better. But yeah, I play online a lot. I play competitive rated games where you have a ranking in the world. And I've taken a couple days off because I wasn't playing well, but I usually play between 50 to 100 games a day every day. Which doesn't take as long as you think because either I win very quickly or I lose very quickly. Most games are pretty mismatched. So I play a lot of chess. It's weird. The kind of chess I actually like is called atomic chess, which is very much like normal chess, except the pieces kind of explode. So normally, if your bishop took my knight, the bishop would still be there and the knight would go away. But in atomic chess, if your bishop takes my knight, both pieces blow up. And if there's any pieces within one square of them, they also blow up. And you can even blow up the king. So it's very different. It's kind of like a ballet that also involves rocket launchers. It's very fun. And in that,
Um,
there's two main sites, and I'm very proud that I'm in the top 500 in the world on one site and the top 300 in the world on another site. And I've been playing that for 7 months since
Wow.
I learned. So I'm hoping soon I'll crack the top 100 in the world on the sites at least, and maybe then I'll be confident streaming. Because with chess, there's going to be better players watching you and commenting in there. Oh, you should have played E5. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. You know, they'll definitely get embarrassed. So I want to make sure.
and um, I I I play, you know, like um these games like Grand Theft Auto with my girlfriend when she's over here play like different games like Spyro, you know, with the
Oh, you like
little
Spyro with the little dragon?
yeah
Do you know that the at least for the first game, I don't want to cut you off. It's a fun musical fact. The drummer for the Police did the music for that game.
Oh, okay.
If you know a band called the Police, there's a famous drummer. He did the music for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just think it's cool that you know Spyro, dude. That's awesome.
And we play different games like Crash Bandicoot. You know that game?
Oh yeah, I had that on PlayStation 1 when it first came out when it was brand new. I begged my mom for it. I
Yeah.
used to play that game all the time. I was like,
I love those anything gaming related. I like, you know.
maybe we got to get you playing some chess. You might be a hidden chess genius.
But is there like a website that I can like like d- download, you know, the file,
Um,
like
for what? For playing chess or for what?
for like playing, you know, playing chess or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to download anything. You can just play through the website. There are two main websites that most people use, and some of the best players in the world also play on these sites. So, it goes from beginner to extreme advanced. But there's a site called Lee Chess, which is weird. It's Li and then the word chess, LICHESS .org. And it's actually a free charity that allows anybody, it's kind of like Wikipedia for chess. It allows anybody to learn. And there's another one called chess.com. And with these, you can go in there and there's actually a little tool that will analyze your games with you at the end. And the supercomputer tells you where you messed up. And that's kind of how I learned how to play.
I never known that about you, Logan. That's an interesting thing.
I learned how to play chess from a supercomputer. That's how everybody learns now. Back in the day, two chess players would finish a game and shake hands, well played, and then they'd have to look at the game and say, there's where you went wrong, Ted. You should have responded to the knight move. And you see, you allowed me to take advantage of the center tension. Oh, yeah. Okay, so is that main line, or are we getting off book here? And they would have to sit there and talk chess jargon to each other and analyze the game. But now you can have the computer analyze your game for you. And the computer is always right. So that has made the level of chess skill like really advanced. That's how I got to be so good at it in 7 months of playing the atomic chess, is because frankly the computer is so helpful. But it's fair because everyone has the computer, so it's fair.
Well, Adam, I'm gonna forward over to you. Um, was there any games that you enjoyed playing when you were growing up, buddy, or no?
When I was growing up, I lived on a farm when I was a little kid, and I think we had a video game back in the prehistoric days. We're all three from a different generation. You're in your 20s, Alex, and Logan's in his 30s, and I just turned 60. So when you go back to my childhood, there wasn't even a home computer yet. Nothing like that was invented yet. But there was games, and I can remember we had an Atari or a ColecoVision, something like that you could put cartridges in it and play. And there was one. The one I liked the most was it was like a dog and a hunting game. He had a little gun, you could point it at the TV and shoot the ducks out of the sky, and then the dog would, like, if you missed it, the hunting dog would jump up from behind the bushes and and laugh at you and make fun of you.
Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt had a little orange gun that went clicking, clicking. Yes.
And I was actually in my 20s probably when that came out, but I got it for my stepson Josh when he was a little kid. Mm-hmm. He's 43 or 44 now, so
that checks out. I had that game when I was about 5.
Well, guys, Um, I I I think I made some great questions
Hmm.
so far,
Yep.
and Adam,
Yeah, we're
thank you
going on 2 hours now, so we've had a good conversation.
Yeah.
thank you for coming on again and
Always a pleasure.
talking about this album. We talked about different subjects, which is interesting that I didn't know about Logan. So I think it it might cover it, you know. And 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 guys, please please download Adam's album wherever you can listen to, to it on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. It's all over the place, guys, and it's a wonderful piece of music.
You got a dang old
Check
CD.
check this guy out. Um, he's a wonderful guy. And so are you, Logan.
Oh, thanks, Alex.
And
So are you, dude.
Yeah.
You're a rock star to me, bro.
Yes,
and
you're quite a gentleman and a good interviewer.
You're
and
a
Adam,
scholar and a gent.
I hope I didn't keep you too long, but
Nah, my McDonald's was already cold, brother.
I'll
It's already cold. It's keeping it, so it'll be fine.
I'll
I know Alex so well. I knew to eat before I came on here.
Hmm. I ate half of it, but I was running late, to be honest.
I almost ate a big old cheeseburger, but that's a whole nother subject.
Oh, I know about that bit.
Yeah, old
Al-
cheeseburger.
Yeah, Alex told me something about that. It was
He
really
put that
funny.
big old cheeseburger in his face.
Yeah, it was funny hearing him say it.
uh,
He had a funny way of retelling
um,
it. I loved.
and Adam met me down at the Clearwater Beach.
That's
If
right.
I didn't tell you about that,
Mhm.
Logan, uh, at the time during his cancer treatment, I was down there singing that song with John Stone,
Mhm.
which you know it, Adam. You played keyboard with our friend John
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah. John Stone is an artist that I played piano and keyboards for a brief time, and he's a mutual friend of Alex and I, and that's how we met at one of John's concerts. I saw Alex sitting out in the front row, and John hands him singing along. He knew every word, and I'm like, this kid knows every. He was a kid then. This is 10 years ago or more.
Mhm.
And John jumps off stage and hands the microphone, a wireless, mic, and hands it over to Alex. And sure enough, he was singing along every word. And I'm standing there playing keyboards, thinking, man, this kid, he must have a copy of the record. And then the next thing I know, we're all backstage, talking and making friends. And I said, Alex, do you live around here? And he said, no, I live in Ocala. And I said, oh, well, my wife and I had just bought a house outside of Ocala, where I'm at right now. I was
Mhm.
living in Nashville at the time, and we hadn't moved in yet. But I said, when I move down to that house, I'll come and see you. And his mom kind of rolled her eyes, like, sure, but we've been friends ever since, haven't we, buddy?
Yep. And and I know you get tired of telling that story, but I believe that that my grandma put some some money in the hat because you were having a hard time paying your medical bills at
Yeah,
the
John
time.
John Stone was one of those artists that if anybody was having trouble in his band or something like that, or anybody, he would help anybody. He's a good dude. He passed a jar unbeknownst to me, and I was a little bit embarrassed about it, but it actually came in handy because I had a bunch of I had about $500,000 worth of medical bills, and I had to pay the copays on all of them, which were still about 50 grand or something. So it was a rough time. I still had a feeding tube in on stage. I mean, I was still undergoing treatment at the time, and I don't know what I was even doing touring, except probably needed the money, and he was willing to put up with but yeah, I remember that he passed a hat around for money, and people there's no way to thank all those people because it's kind of, even though they're out right in front of you, it's kind of anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was cool. And Alex's grandmother put some money in there, and along with a lot of other people.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see people willing to do that, even though there is no credit for it. Kind of shows you some of the goodness in people, which it's important to see that sometimes.
Yeah.
And people now in these days they don't think about other people. They're all about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not everybody, but there's always going to be people like that. Always.
As long as there's always people like you, though, bro, we'll balance it out.
I was gonna say the best thing we can do is not be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know what I mean, buddy? There's some people that are nice and some people that are not nice in the world, and
That's the world we live in.
You gotta be careful of who you meet online, especially if it's not a good person or not. You agree with what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful who you make friends with. I started hanging out with these people once, and you know what? I came to find out not only are they the kind of people that talk in the theater, but they eat creamy peanut butter. And I was just like, man, I don't know what I can't be hanging out with these riffraff, man. They're gonna take me down a bad road. Crunchy peanut butter, by the way, is the only acceptable. I don't know if we agree on that, but I'm willing to forgive creamy peanut butter.
There's two kinds of people in this world: those that like Neil Diamond and those who don't.
I like Neil Diamond. I guess that's why we're here.
I love that song called Sweet Caroline.
I call that the sheep song because you go bop bop bop. So every time I hear sheep, Sweet Caroline. Bah.
Every time I hear sheep, I hear Daddy.
Yeah. That's actually what kids sound like too. They all sound like sheep, and Stevie Nicks. I love Stevie Nicks, but she does have a
good analogy. Good analogy. Yeah.
South Park made that joke. It's not nice. It's funny, but I don't really think she sounds. But she sounds great. She's lovely.
She is a lovely lady.
Yeah, she's a gem, dude.
Well, thank you guys for your time, Adam, especially, and I got one more question for Logan.
What's up, brother?
We was gonna talk about what is your favorite NFL team?
Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've been watching Tampa Bay Buccaneers since '99. I remember the days of John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, man, Simeon Rice, Mike Allstott, Sean King, Brad Johnson, Warwick Dunn. Oh man, I was an old school Buccaneers head, man. I had my family took me to some games. I remember the season they won their first Super Bowl in 2002. I was actually at Week 7 against the Panthers at Raymond James, and it was like 30 degrees out, and I was sick as a dog. But I played football in middle school, and so I had my actual football pads on from my team. I had on my Mike Allstott jersey signed by Tony Dungy. I had on this crazy hat that looked like a pirate ship. I had a foam sword. I mean, I was all in on that. But what's your team?
I wonder we innovate. I'm a big fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too, but
That's right. We did talk about that.
Two of
and
you.
And since I'm from Miami, the Miami Hurricanes.
Okay. Do your Miami people get mad at you for not being a Dolphins fan, though? I don't think anybody can get mad at you for not being a Dolphins fan. Sorry, Dolphins fans. I don't think anybody can really get mad at you for that.
I don't know.
Well,
to me, it's any fan that's not a Cowboys fan is all right with me.
Yeah, there's just something about that. What is that?
Yeah. And who gets to proclaim themselves America's team anyway?
Yeah, it's pretentious. Presumptuous, if you will.
If anything, it should be the Patriots, but I'm an Eagles fan. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta respect the Patriots. Eagles, longtime rival of the Buccaneers. We beat the Eagles in 2002 for the NFC Championship and went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm very used to disappointment. I'm an Eagles fan, and I am very much used to disappointment.
I think you guys have had more good seasons than the Buccaneers.
Maybe two Super Bowl wins in the whole. And the franchise has been around since the Green Bay Packers, man.
Oh wow, that's even older than the Bucks were set in 1976, and
they were considered an expansion team to me.
yeah, kind of the way I see the Jags or the Texans from my era of expansion.
Yeah, from Pennsylvania, I think I'd like to say that I'm a Steelers fan, and a lot of my family members are. But I lived closer to Philadelphia, and as a kid, I got to go to JFK Stadium and see those were the first NFL games I saw in real life, and it made a big impression on me, that green and white, and I just always stuck with them,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it started.
I'm not a guy to switch teams no matter how bad they are.
Hey, well, yeah, really? You're talking to two Buccaneers fans, and between 2002 and 2020 were 18 very unremarkable seasons.
Right.
I'm also a Gators fan.
Yeah, me too. Since I moved to Florida, I've become a Gators fan. I want to say if I have a college team right now, I don't follow them that closely, but I'm no longer a Penn State fan. I'm now a Gators fan. I never was a UT fan. I lived in Nashville for 25 years. For some reason, I never warmed up to UT, but I like being a Gators fan now. I've been to the Swamp a couple times, even if it was just to play music or something. But
heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's chomping, bro. He's chomping. Watch out.
Uh-oh.
I like what the Gators, do for Gainesville. Having the university there has brought all kinds of crazy, talented, and professional people from all over the world to a tiny little swamp town. And really, that's why I have a music career, because of Gainesville. So Gainesville wouldn't be what it is without the university. So, always want to.
I learned to love Gainesville. I'm a country boy and I live out in the country, but I think if I had to pick a town to live in Florida, it would definitely be Gainesville.
I grew up in the woods, and Gainesville was the big city to us yokels. It was the big shining city on the hill. It's like, pack up the horses and grab your water bags. We're going to hit the hills and go to Gainesville, hit the marketplace. And we were like, oh my God, they have electricity. But so to me, Gainesville was always this ideal. It was like going to New York City, climbing out of the woods. And I learned to love it because that's where I got my first real gigs when I was a teenager. And I still have friends from when I was 15 that I met at Calico Jack's, So it's a great town. It taught me most of the good stuff I know, and a lot of the bad too, like how to spend money on guitars and drums.
I like Gainesville. The more I see of it too, the better I like it, and that's a good sign. As far as the culture with Heartwood Soundstage and some of the venues and the things, they try to provide people with original music instead of just nothing against cover bands. I play in one, but
Guilty.
I like this side of Gainesville that promotes original music and artists, and I just hope they keep. College towns are typically that way, but Gainesville's special. It really is, and I'm glad to feel like I'm part of that. Sometimes it's kind of a cool place to end up in my life, because I don't plan on, at my age now, who knows, but I don't plan on leaving.
It's definitely where I want to retire. There's a house somewhere. I forget exactly what we call the area. There's this really crazy house that I almost rented with 3 friends once, because it would have taken that many of us to afford it. And it's like this tree house. You go in, it's an open floor plan, and all the beds are just in holes in the wall. And there's a wraparound porch, and it's like 3 stories. And it's like 20 minutes from the edge of town. It's right in the middle of everything. And I've made up my mind I'm going to try to retire to that house one day. And I don't know if it'll be safe, because it's a tree house, but it's probably.
If you do, I'll play at your housewarming party.
Yeah, dude, that's the only way we would do it.
I'm going to commit to it right now. When that
We'll have you on the upper floor.
Call me. I'll be on the Steinway on the 3rd floor. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and guests can like find a nook to hang out of precariously. Though I'll have to sign a waiver, because this place is a death trap. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's the coolest house I've ever seen. And we'll get Alex in there. We'll have our croissants and our baguettes. That's our inside joke, because we're going to Paris, and we're gonna have some baguettes when he gets to 1 million subscribers.
Yep.
We just hit the 2-hour mark, gentlemen.
Okay.
It's about time to eat the rest of that cold McDonald's, Alex.
Okay. Thank you guys for your time, and thank you to Adam. Thank you to Logan. This was the fun 2 hours that I ever had with you guys. So thank you again for doing this.
Thank you, bud.
Of course, Adam, but having you on, Logan, to talk about the album, to include Adam in this was very special, and I wanted to hear your side of the story too. So that's why I had you. That's why Adam, introduced me to you, right, Adam?
Yep. Yeah, well, after the 3rd time I was on your show, I was starting to run out of things to say. So I suggested maybe we get some new faces on here, and it's working out great. Yeah, Logan, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're a busy man, and it means a lot to me and Alex, I think, to have this made it more interesting for me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I love Alex, and I love his question, but having somebody that has a different take on a project that we worked on together that meant a lot to both of us, kind of gave me a new interest in. I might even put the album on and listen to it again when we get off of here. Who knows?
I've heard half of it today. It stays in my car, man. I was driving a lot today. I heard half of that thing on the road. But thank you guys both thank you for introducing me to Alex. And Alex, thank you for taking an interest in me as a person and an artist, dude. I appreciate it. I'm really glad that you're my friend now.
And I look forward to working with you on those 2 projects.
We're gonna jam, dude. We're gonna jam and rock out.
Logan's here one day when Logan's free. Maybe we'll go out and have Mexican or something. And by the time we finish our margarita, we'll have the music for your song or something. Who knows?
And then we'll have to get some baguettes and celebrate when we release it.
Yeah.
Big old bunch of bread
or a cheeseburger.
That's actually more likely what I would want. I try to act sophisticated, but a baguette's like a cheeseburger without the burger and the cheese. I mean,
hopefully, Logan, if Adam has like a party or something, maybe I can.
I've been known to do that. Yeah.
Maybe you should
Um,
not only make it, maybe you should DJ, bro.
huh?
We should get you DJing. That's
Yeah.
we'll talk about your DJ future. I've just decided I think you'd make a natural DJ. I could just see you
True.
spinning, and like
Yeah.
I got the files from Adam's album.
you
Maybe
could
I can, you know, uh, you know, play those.
absolutely, you get a playlist going on of all your favorite 90s country and your dance favorites, all those classics from the 80s. I don't know if you listen to the 80s, but
So,
another
guys,
time though.
guys, again, happy New Year. We're now in 2025.
2023, yep.
I mean, we're now in 2025.
No, you were right. I was just wanting to go backwards in time
Oh,
when I was
okay.
34. I'm sorry. I'll stop clowning around. It's been a long day.
We've all been unemployed since COVID, basically. But hey,
long before, man. Long before.
It's hard to believe that it's been 5 years now.
Yeah, I've been technically unemployed for 8 years, so that's pretty cool right there.
All right, gentlemen. Love you guys, and
Love you, man.
we'll get together soon in person.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for doing this out of such short notice. I know you're in the middle of moving your houses, but
Yeah, slowly. It's a slow process. That's a whole other subject. But yep, we might have to have a housewarming party over there at some point. So
yep.
And maybe we can invite Logan. Who knows?
well, we'll think.
I mean, who knows, man? They might not. You know, we have to see.
Yeah. But you, Adam, you were talking about a party to me at some point. Remember,
Yep.
Tammy had to get with my mom. Maybe we can, invite Logan.
I think we should. Yeah.
I'll be
I think
there.
that's a great idea. Yeah, I got accommodations. People can, if they want to stay over, if they got a long drive, they can do that. Yeah.
And maybe Mr. Logan can meet my mom in person.
I would love to meet your mom, dude.
I think your mom would really like Logan a lot. Yeah.
And moms are my favorite people, aside from bass players. If your mom ain't a bass player, then you're my favorite person ever.
Well, thank you guys again. I didn't mean to keep you all so long.
It was fun hanging out with you guys, man. Y'all my friends, so I'm glad we could do it.
Yeah, thanks, Alex, for having us, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
I love you guys.
Love you too, man.
And God bless you.
Bless you, bro.
And go Gators.
Go Gators. I can agree on that one. Bye.
Yep. Go Bucks.
So Logan, what was your favorite part about this interview tonight?
It's hard to say. It's still kind of still fresh, but I mean, the big takeaway for me is it was just nice to have a good conversation with you and Adam at the same time. I've never hung out with both of you guys at the same time before, so that was my favorite part.
Well, I just loved having you on.
Thanks, bud.
And getting to know the man behind that wonderful, amazing album that we to to listen to,
Yeah, I appreciate you taking an interest, man. It's nice when somebody cares about the stuff you make. So that makes it all much more rewarding for me to know that we have such a great fan. And it's always fun to talk about that because making music's some of my favorite stuff in the world, just like making friends. So
And I'm
glad we
and
can do
I'm
that.
glad that you took interest in my show.
Of course, man. I love what you're doing, and I want to see you grow and go to bigger and bigger heights with it.
Well, well, with your help, we can make that possible with different different guests, and
Mhm.
you know, I'm just trying to make my stepdad proud. That's what I set out to do with this whole thing.
Well, that's a perfect motivation, a great motivation. But I'm sure he was already proud of you too. So,
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
be a motivation as well, is knowing that I'm sure Mr. Tony would be very proud to see you continuing to do it and staying positive and spreading that kind of just really great attitude that you have and sharing that with the world. That's a really good thing to do.
And that's what I set out to do.
You're doing it, bro. You're doing it.
And look where it's gotten me now.
Yep, we're halfway to baguettes and croissants.
Yep.
I'll stop with that. I'll stop with that. You can tell there's something about me. I'm just always hungry every time we talk.
Well, well, L- Logan, I know you're hungry. Go get something to eat, and I'll talk to you on the flip side,
I'll
my
talk to you on the flip
brother.
side, my dear brother.
And like I said, I look forward to working with you with those projects. When you guys get around to doing it. So,
Us too, bud.
and thank you for your time. And like I said, you're always welcome back to the Disability TV Network anytime.
Thanks, bud. I feel very welcome, and I'm sure I'll be back as soon as you're ready to have me back on. I'll come running, dude.
Tell tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody what I'm about.
Yep. I'll tell all those cool cats and all the cousins I know, and we'll get you some cool musicians, and who knows what kind of people you might be talking to this time next year. We'll just see what the world has in store for us.
So th- um, okay, I'll let you go. I know you're getting hungry, so
Yeah, it's all right.
go warm up that burger or
Yeah,
whatever you're.
that's what it is. I'm gonna go warm up some McDonald's. It's probably gonna chip a tooth, but I'm gonna try. But well,
Yeah.
thank you, Alex. Much love to you, buddy, and always a pleasure talking. I hope we'll get on the show again soon, man.
And definitely we can schedule a time and date to do this again. I really enjoyed it.
Me
When
too,
you
dude.
have when you have time, I know you're a busy dude.
Well, I've tried to be that way. If I'm not busy, that's when I'm really in trouble. So, but yeah, I'd love to, man. Just let me know. I don't want to I don't want to be a guest too many times in a short period, but whenever you're ready to get back at it or when we have new music, whatever, it'll be a good time. We'll make it happen.
I'm thinking when you put out my jingle, maybe we can promote that on my show,
That seems like the right time to do it. Yeah, I think you're onto something there, dude.
or or that secret surprise that I to tell you about.
Exactly. I know just the one you're talking about.
So
Well, you just let
later
me know, brother.
I will, and please tell Cliff, tell the the Tom Petty tribute band. Tell everybody about my show and what I'm doing here,
I sure will, man. I sure will.
and they might like what they see, or they might not. Who knows? But I definitely try my hardest to put out new content. So,
You're a content machine, Alex. You put
yeah.
out a ton of content. You work very hard. So I'm sure I've already talked to some friends, and I'm sure we'll have some new guests for you to try and schedule in here soon.
So, so what was that? One more thing,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll let you go.
That's okay.
Um, you said you was gonna give me the the the, the channel to that special kids and and how to contact that person.
Yeah, I think I sent that to you on Facebook Messenger last night when I got home. Because remember we were
Uh,
talking on I think we were on a call and I found his contact information on his
it,
YouTube page.
it
So let me
it
check.
didn't show up on my
Oh,
end.
maybe I just told you what it was and how to spell it. But I thought I sent it to you. Pardon the clicking sounds. I'm just double checking.
And I
Uh,
also sent you an email. It's just saying hi,
right.
so you
Just so
got
I
my,
have your.
yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can't before we even get off of here in a second. I'll see if I can't send you that contact and make sure it goes through.
Okay,
I just have
because
to make sure not to play any of his stuff.
our internet is very spotty here, and
Mhm.
sometimes it don't go through. So
Totally get that. Totally get that. Yeah, that was weird. Um, I guess it auto played some stuff, but that's okay. It was just a couple seconds. But yep, I've got that for you here, and I will send that to you, my friend, in just a minute, and you'll have that.
okay, thank thanks, Logan. It's been fun, my friend.
And it's been fun, my friend, and thank you for having me on. I'm glad we could have a good chat tonight.
And okay, guys, this ends another interview with my friend Logan and Adam Carlisle. We was talking about a little bit about my buddy Adam Carlisle's new album, and we was talking about some different stuff. And if you like what do you see, if you like more of this type of content that you're seeing right now on your screen, please like and subscribe and turn on your little notification bell to see where when I go live, and check out this dude over here. at Logan Fisher on YouTube. So um uh it's that right, my friend?
That's right, my
Uh,
friend.
he puts some killer, music, and he's a great producer.
Thank you.
And you were playing the heck out of those drums on that video that you did.
Thanks, buddy. I'm glad you think so. It was fun to make that.
And I was gonna play it on our way out, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine with me, bro.
I know it. I know it's been. This thing was going for 2.5 hours, but
Mhm.
um, I will only keep this on my my YouTube because I probably won't have any space to put it on all these different platforms. But
Understandable.
so okay, Logan. Um, you you want to say any closing remarks before we
Uh,
get out of here?
I kind of, since it's not my YouTube channel, I kind of want to say, what do they say? What do they say at the end of the YouTube videos? It's always like smash that like button and hit the notification bell and all of that. But just subscribe to Alex Perez show, and thank you, Alex, for your time today, man. I really appreciate it.
And my pleasure.
Mine too.
Um, um, and you're always welcome back again.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, let's let's hear that drum solo on the way out.
Excellent.
Thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Alex. You're the best, man.
All right, okay. Um, let's let's see if I can get it on here. Uh, hold on, without taking taking you out of the video. I want you to be able to see that as well. So let me get it down here to my video selection here, and maybe I can go to my videos and maybe I had a hard time getting this on my computer because it it wouldn't let me d- download that piece of um drum solo when I made it into a b- video clip.
Yeah, I think the idea with the clips is YouTube wants you to post the clip on your channel rather than download it. So I don't think they want us downloading it so much as like the clip is something you can play through YouTube. So I guess you'd have to put your YouTube clip on the screen for the stream is probably the way to do it. But I'm not really an expert on that. That's my guess.
I know, but
Oh,
you know, as as long as you gave me permission to play that, you know,
I officially on video
video,
declare you
I
may.
Okay, and I think I have it here. Let me cue that up right
All
now.
right, I'm gonna mute my mic so it doesn't play through that.
Hold on. Um, if I remember where I put it, but I know I had it here earlier. Um, maybe I'm over overlooking it. Maybe. Um, maybe I. Oh, here it is.
Nope, I don't think I can hear you, but
Oops, I'm sorry.
that's
I
okay. I had muted mine too. But thanks for
um
playing that.
so I I hope I didn't play too 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 long of the 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 drum solo or
Well, I don't think so. And if YouTube has a problem with it, I'll just tell them to stop. We'll get it fixed.
yeah. So you gave me permission to use it. So
Sure did.
well, thank you again for coming on. I know I sound like a broken record here, but
That's
thank
okay. I
you.
like all kinds of records, even broken ones. Sometimes I'm a broken record too. But
Okay.
thank you for
So
having me on, buddy.
so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to to exit the stream,
Mm-hmm.
I might have to drop you down. Um, do you see where it says leave studio?
Oh, yes, I do. It's right here.
Um, you can drop yourself down at any time.
Okay. Well, thank you, buddy. It was great talking to you, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
Oh, okay.
And please give my best to your mom. Tell her I said hey.
I will. Thank you again for putting up with you know, with my cheeseburger eating self tonight.
Thank you for putting up with my about to eat a cheeseburger self tonight, and we'll catch up real soon, buddy.
Okay.
All right. Good night, dude. And,
Thanks,
and thanks
man.
to everybody watching. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. All right. Let's see. Good night, everybody. All right.